All right. Hello, everyone. I am here with Lucy, the fifth member of the jury, seventh placer. And I know I kind of messed up the graphic. For future seasons, future hosts, do not make graphics while you're half asleep.
Yeah, you've been messing up a lot of these graphics, Sean. Get it together.
But yes, I am here with Lucy. First of all, Lucy, I know production has extended their feelings towards your game and you as a person. First of all, I'm upset, dearly upset. I loved your interview. You lived up to your interview. You said that you were going to do a lot of these things. You hit every single nail in the coffin with each statement you've said that you're going to do in this game. So let's start off. So your vote out, you fought and fought. You pulled a lot of things to make sure you gathered a lot of, votes, information to make sure you try to stay in the game. Why do you think people were hesitant to even keep you in the game?
Well, I somehow was looked at as like a challenge threat, which I don't know. I just feel like I got lucky, honestly. And I think I'm perceived as I am a really good talker. I'm very articulate and I have a lot of charisma. So I think people were aware that I was not a good person to go to the end with, and I mean, Brian said he's wanted me out since the Mac vote. He saw that I was dangerous and that I was going to win the game. And he's essentially was keeping his enemies close in even aligning with me. But some of it was just the numbers, I fell onto the wrong side of the numbers. And yeah, I mean, that was just some of it.
So let's talk about something you mentioned, the Mac vote.
Yeah.
So that first round, you and Mac you guys went really well, meshed really well. And then literally not even like a day before the tribal, your vision of Mac switched. So tell us that.
Yeah.
From wanting to protect Mac to let's get Mac out.
Well, every single person that I talked to when I talked about making an alliance or a group chat wanted to bring Mac in. And then I realized, like, fuck, I'm being so naive because this guy called me as soon as we hit the beach and said he wanted to be my number one. And I was like, he's probably saying that to everyone. And also, I felt like he was like getting on to me and Brett. And I started like me and Brett did not do a very good job of hiding it. I mean, nobody else was picking up on it, but Mac is super smart. And I could be totally wrong, but I feel like Mac was like picking up on it. And I like, at first was like, fuck, I might have to jump shit on Brett, jump ship on Brett. Like, this is not good. Like, I don't know, just me and Brett were both saying we played one org, and Mac asked me what it was called, and like, I couldn't think of anything. So I told him, and I'm like, fuck, he's going to go on Facebook Survivor and see the cast from last season. Like, I got super paranoid. But so, and then when I want to make a move, like, I get this feeling inside me, like I'm about to like give birth or something, or like throw up. And it's like, I'm like, no, don't, this is crazy. This is crazy. And then I was just like, fuck, I got to do this. Like, I don't know if it's being impulsive or inspired, because I think there's an art to playing Survivor. I just had this like burst of inspiration that I was going to pull this move, and I could not I could not contain myself. So.
Okay. So let's talk about something that production was, I guess I would say inspired, but also like not really inspired. The first endurance challenge, the scrambled egg, where you have to balance an egg on the spoon in your mouth. Guys watching this in the future, go watch that when it opens after the season ends. Lucy, honestly, for me, very inspirational. But
what?
The pee bucket. Let's talk about the pee bucket. Because other players who do an endurance challenge, if they need to use the bathroom, they will just drop. Like, okay, I can't do this. I need to use the bathroom, or like at this point, like I gotta drop. what motivated you to keep going even if you have to use the bathroom? Like what was going through your mind? Like shit, like
We had
the
to win it. We had to win it because I really felt like David was going to be useful to me at the merge, and I really wanted to keep all the players in play at the merge. So we had to fucking win it.
so you have mentioned a player, David. Um, as production was watching throughout the game, especially the merge phase after getting blindsided about the Brett vote, or I think you kind of knew that happened was going to happen. Correct me if I'm wrong. David was the number one person that really struck to you the most, that told you about his feelings. Like
Yeah.
when that happened, like what was your thoughts? What was your brain going through in that moment? Like, okay, I'm not talking game with you anymore. I love you as a person, but game talk is done.
Yeah. David set a boundary, and there is nothing I can do but respect that. I mean, I was in an abusive relationship for so many years where I set all these boundaries and they were just never respected. They were just walked all over. Like me setting a boundary was, I was almost antagonized for it. So when someone sets a boundary with me, I respect it, and period, point blank. And that was it. So I love David, and I don't know how I misread that situation with David, because he's actually like pretty straightforward. And but the thing was, David was offering like me a spot in his final four, but he wasn't offering it to Brett or Brian, and those were my guys. And so that's why I kind of disregarded him in the game. I thought naively that the three of us were going to ride or die. So
So personal level aside, was it a smart move to let you know, for David to let you know, like the game talks stop there?
um I mean, people, if he makes it to the end, people might call him out on his inability to be flexible, you know. But he outlasted me. So I was clearly no use to him. He clearly didn't need me in the game. He has the numbers. I mean, from everything I was reading in the jury chats, he's probably on the bottom of those numbers, but um, I don't know if it's like smart in the game, but he has to preserve his mental health too and his integrity. And that's the difference between a player like David and a player like Brian. As David is willing to preserve his integrity over the game, and Brian is not.
So let's move over to the jury. You are now on the jury. What are you looking for in a finalist when voting?
I mean, I'm just assuming it's going to be Aaron and Josh. I don't know. Brian might weasel his way in. I actually was thinking yesterday, like, oh, well, if Brian makes it to the end, depending on who he's with, like, I'd be open to voting for him to win. But then he threatened me right before Tribal. He was like, good luck tonight. And just so you know, if you try to vote me out, it's going to be a shit storm coming your way. Like, he fucking threatened me. Like, that man is so threatened by me. He, like, everyone else is enjoying my song. I could see it in their faces. And Brian just cannot stand how wonderful I am. It just really, really hurts him that I'm so amazing and he's such a dirtbag. So, but yeah,
So,
what am I looking for in a finalist? I don't mind somebody lying. I don't mind somebody stabbing people in the back. There's just a way to do it where people still have your respect. So I don't really care if they lie, cheat, and steal. I guess I'm interested to see like them explain themselves, and I mean, I hope to not be a bitter juror. Maybe these feelings I have towards Brian I'll be able to shake them off by that time. I'm pretty just disgusted with him. If Brian and David were in the end together, I would definitely vote for David because I respect that he was willing to preserve his integrity. And I respect somebody who plays with confidence. I feel like Brian plays like an insecure game. So I don't know, just I'll vote for someone according to my values. I value people that like have a strong sense of self-awareness, self-esteem, yeah, so it's just going to be according to my personal values, I guess.
So in this case, in the final six, everyone but Brian has a chance at your vote.
I'm not going to say Brian doesn't. Right now, I feel like he doesn't, but there is still like 10 days left for me to kind of nurse my wounds, you know? So I may feel different. I'm going to say everyone has a chance. I'm rooting for Jess, obviously, but she is, you know, she's a dead man walking, but I'm definitely rooting for her and would have loved to go to the end with her.
Well, you just answered the next question I was going to ask, who you're rooting for. There you go.
Yeah, definitely Jess. I know Josh like does nothing but lie, and I'm sure he was lying to me the whole conversation before tribal and stuff. But there's something about, I don't know, like when I was singing, I rewatched it and there was like joy in his eyes. Like he was like happy that I was having a moment. And like, I felt like he had some sort of respect for me in a way. Like, I don't know, there's something, even though Josh hasn't really done much except sort of secure his numbers and like, he hasn't made any like big plays, but there's just something about him that's super easy to respect. And that I feel like a jury would feel good about voting for.
So do you have any like regrets in the game, or do you think you like, okay, let's stick with that. Do you have any regrets in the game?
Yeah, obviously I regret trusting Brian. I had David who wanted to see me shine and wanted to see me succeed, and Brett who felt the same about me. And I was considering cutting Brett, and I turned on David, people that wanted to see me shine and that weren't threatened by it, for somebody who didn't and couldn't stand it. And yeah, I regret it, but next time I play, I'll be just so much more careful about sharing about my relationships. I shared pretty much everything with Brian, and the whole time this like jealousy was brewing in him, and I was just so proud of myself. I thought I was playing so well. I just wanted somebody to like confide in and tell them like, I'm doing so good, because my social game was a little bit lacking last time. I was just so proud of myself. So I don't know. It's hard for me to not be so like outspoken and stuff, but yeah.
You answered the next question I was going to ask of what was the one thing you say in this game you were proud of doing, since it's being your first ever Skype Zoom game, whereas your first game was strictly Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
again,
I'm proud of myself, because when I first hit the beach, there was like all these seasoned players and I was so terrified. And I remember thinking, I'll just be happy if I make it to merge. Like I was so scared. And I'm super proud of myself. Because I've learned a little bit more about my identity as a Survivor player, like what kind of player I am. And yeah, I guess I'm most proud of just being myself the whole way through.
okay. Last couple more questions. If you end up playing another season of Inferno, what would you say you're going to change about your gameplay?
I'm going to focus mostly on relationships and not like try to make any big moves until later. I'm going to work on my relationships to where like I have a lot of different people that I could go to and a lot of different people in play for me. I think keeping like go with the easy votes first so that I don't piss anyone off and people still on all sides will work with me. And then just being much more careful about who I trust. And I hope you bring me back for All Stars.
Well, we'll see. There's a lot more seasons to come.
Yeah, I
know. Last question. It's not really game related. I guess kind of is. For a future applicant of Inferno, what would you say? Any advice or tips you would give them? And so
I would say that production is great and like it's a really good org to be a part of, and I would just like highly recommend that they give Inferno a shot. You guys did great.
Thank you, thank you. I honestly was very nervous coming into the season. Like, I've hosted in other production teams before, and they were, I've hosted one. I've been in one production team where it kind of flopped. My first ever production team actually manifested me into actually wanting to host. So it feels great that every comment and positive comments, it just feels amazing. But with
Yeah, you
that,
guys did so good.
thank you, thank you. And with that, that concludes our exit interview with Lucy, seventh place finisher, fifth member of the jury. And before we end the recording, is there any last things you would like to say, Lucy?
Just that the challenges were so great. You guys did a great job with the challenges. There was such a huge variety, and I was able to do well because there was a lot of like creative challenges. So I was really happy about that.
Except for Google Feud. We don't talk about Google Feud.
The what?
Google Feud.
Oh, yeah. But that one's still fun too. You guys just have to, I don't know. There's a bunch of different Google feuds on there. So on like Google, I find like a different one or I don't know. I liked it, but it was hard and there was some like technical stuff because of the application you were using. But I don't think you should throw it away. I think you should just refine that one.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to stop the recording.